Welcome everybody to the jury roundtable. I am your jury moderator, Jacob. For those of you who don't know me, honestly, you all know me, so I'm not even going to bother introducing myself. Today we're going to be discussing the merits of the final two, Adam and Alex. We will be, well, first off, as the moderator, this is what my responsibility is. I'm just going to be facilitating the conversation. I'm not going to be dominating the conversation. This is all up to you guys to direct it and to talk about the merits of their games socially, strategically, and physically. Obviously, you've all participated in this game as I have not. I have outside information that I obviously cannot disclose, but you guys will be able to share your perspectives and insight on the final two here. Um, and I hope that we will be able to continue a civil, cordial conversation where we can give both of the final two respect, at least on a personal level. On a game level, you can express your frustrations, your gripes with each of their games, but at the end of the day, this is a game. So I would like to at least start off with just a question for anybody can answer. And y'all can figure that out when we get there. Are you shocked by this final two? Like by the time that you got sent home, were you expecting this to be the final two or one or both of these people to be here?
Um, am I muted? No. Okay. Um, I mean, I'm not shocked. I was shocked that they would take each other, so I'm shocked that I'm not there. Um, that's it. But when it comes to them actually getting there, no, because they could obviously win their way there. They won every fucking comp except for like three. So, I'm not surprised. Is everybody else not surprised? Shit.
Yeah.
Y'all are quiet. Talk shit now.
I mean, there's some people who are earlier jurors, so like were you seeing the game play out in a way to where you saw Alex and or Adam making it to final two or no? Did you feel like it was a fluid game that anyone could have taken?
Sorry, my internet keeps dying coming back, so I might disappear again. We'll see.
Um, Wait, what was that question? You said, do you think was it, could anyone have done that? Is that what you said?
I was about to say, do you feel like it was a fluid game or like
Oh,
from
for them.
far out, did you expect like, oh, Alex and Adam were gonna take this or yeah.
Um, I just personally, well, I already went first. Someone else go. I'll go second.
Sean.
Um, I mean, for me at least, like I
Joining on my
personally felt like
iPad.
I I personally think that it could have been anyone's game. I just think luck was on their side more often because the challenges were like beneficial to them in a way. Like if I'm being honest, final, final seven, final eight. Everyone in the final eight would have had a chance to be in the final two, in my opinion.
Yeah, I just
Right?
think honestly, I feel like was that the triple? Yeah, that
Yeah.
was the triple round. I feel like that round had anybody else would have won veto would have been completely different. But again, they just were able to snag all those wins, like even when they, the wins in general. So I feel like they had some missteps along the way, but that's just me personally because I was playing my game and I knew they were winning and I was working with both of them closely. So I wanted them to do what I wanted. And when shit didn't happen, I'm like, well, this is dumb. So, um, but that's just me personally. I don't know. It might have helped them. I mean, they're obviously still here, but and at the end. But then again, I feel like it could have been completely different. Like had anybody else won one singular comp more, like even at Final Four, I feel like it'll be way different. That's just me.
Well, since this seems to be like a recurring theme, like, oh, they were able to snag all those wins, they were able to win all the competitions. How much merit does the physical game have for you guys? Because some people may just primarily see this as a social, strategic game, so that if you don't have grace in either of those aspects, then like for the physical game to carry you, that may deduct some points for some people. So do you feel like Go as a juror, do you look at the physical game? Do you look at comp wins as like a big factor as to who you think should win this game or no?
I can start this one off because I was very vocal about this when I was still in the game. Um, Me as a juror, I could give two fucks on how many fucking times you win this game. Only thing that matters when it comes to, I guess, winning is how you maneuver yourself in that position of having that power. In the sense of Alex and Adam having power, I feel like Alex lacked a lot when it comes to his own decision makings. I worked really close with Adam, so I knew every decision he made. I knew why he wanted to do them. I also know why he felt, and in that moment, he didn't want to take people out.
Um, Going back to okay, when you said okay, winning comps, me no, I give a fuck about comps also because I can't win comps. And so I'm always that like I'm always the person that like oh I've won probably one lucky ass comp pre-jury. I mean I did, but like in other games, so I don't come in looking at wins. It's like oh you have to win comps to win this game, but I'm glad we don't really have to look at that and factor that in, so that crosses it out for both of them. They can't use oh I won a lot of comps on us to impress us because we know that. um so I think personally with these two I'm going to be looking at like how they use those comps, I guess how they use the power. I feel like both of them have times where they I was confused personally like when Adam took Jackie off. I mean, I get it if they were working together. I was just like, okay, I get it, whatever, that's fine. And then when Adam also gave the next HOH to Jackie, so I'm just like, what the fuck is going on? And then in Alex's point, like when he would put certain people up, like targeting Danny at the end, going after Vanessa, I'm like, what are you doing, Alex? Like, you're not helping yourself, you're helping Adam, if anything. But um, and fucking me up in the process. So like, I don't know. I'm gonna have to really look past like what they did to not better my game if it bettered their game. That's my thing.
Minor Vanessa, do you have anything to speak on the physical game?
Yeah, so I've seen someone win with having the most comp wins, and then I've seen someone win with having 0 comp wins. So I'm just gonna look at what they decided to do with that, how they went about numbing people and then evicting people, or like how they decided to, yeah, maneuver themselves in the game.
I am curious. Like, oh wait, go Vanessa. I got a question, but
Oh, I was just gonna say there's there's like nothing really for me to think about or say. So I haven't really been thinking about it for probably a lot of the questions you're gonna ask because I promised that if Alex got to the end, I would just vote for the other person. So it's not very deep so far.
Well, all right. So
wait, why did you? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
no, no, it's okay. Juan, why don't you ask where you're gonna
Vanessa, why? Wait, why did you promise that? Like, what? Well, I want to like I kind of know. Well, I don't know what happened, but I mean, I didn't want you on the block and going home. Like everything I was telling you was true because I was like, Alex is going crazy. So
Yeah.
why did you like?
So
What happened?
so obviously, like I said, somewhere in the picture, either Alex made up uh, a lie being told to him, or somebody lied to him about Jackie having proposed a backdoor plan to me the previous week, and me like keeping that a secret. When the only thing Jackie ever approached me with was like, you should put Eric up for like the obvious reasons, and you should put Adam up, and then that's the whole story. We all know about that. Um, but it wasn't really that as much as it was that before the veto, the one with the balls and the cups, I had like told Alex that I wasn't going to be available for the veto at all and that I had fully forfeited it. So like before he nommed me. And I had also warned him that for live night itself, I like probably wasn't going to be available for any of it. And I I did end up getting to like pre-participate in like as many comps as I would have been able to participate in for live night, but the veto in particular, I was telling the truth that like I had absolutely no chance whatsoever to participate in it. And honestly, if he had backdoored me in those circumstances, and I would have not been playing in the veto either way, then I probably would have had less resentment about this. But given the fact that I already felt like extremely alienated by like a good half of the house, but Alex in particular, um, and like neglected in general, and even during my HOH, it felt like he approached me very cautiously, and like he never really took the opportunity to try to develop something with more trust with me at any point after anything fell apart for my whole game. Um, so in the context of all that resentment, having him put me up when I had like been very upfront with him that like I had no chance to participate in the veto, and that I probably wasn't going to be able to participate in live night. Uh, and telling him that like I wasn't going to be like available to talk to people for like a good chunk of like the next 5 days. He knew that I was crippled socially and competitively in terms of anything that I could have done to like stop him from just putting me up on the block and me going home straightforwardly, given my position. And I know that if I were in a better position, that might not have been the case. But I think given how much I've contextualized and like kind of like thrown myself in front of Alex, and given how little I had actually done that he could actually like be suspicious of me for or resentful of me for, I I felt like he was just kind of like kicking the wounded animal. And I thought
I
that was kind of
wonderfully told.
pathetic.
I
And
wonderfully
I was
told that.
resentful enough about the whole game at that point that like while I was going out, promising him that I would vote against him felt like the best way to like manifest my resentment and desire to just check out and just leave it on a note of fuck you for that. So that's my game.
So
No,
there's one vote.
you're right, Jacob.
I was about to say, so there's one vote probably not going to Alex anytime soon. But on that note, let's actually talk about Alex's game specifically. You know, Sean mentioned that there's times where people were very questionable of Alex's decisions, whether or not they were of Alex's own self-interest. So let's talk about that. Like, what did Alex do with his power, or what type of conversations was Alex
Oh,
having to give off that type of impression?
Um, he told me that he put me up because he was blindsided that Eric was nominated. Because he heard from Eric that he didn't know that he was being nominated. But if he came to me, I would have read him the message. I was like, I told Eric he's going to be a pawn. And Eric knew like 30 minutes or like 40 minutes before it happening. And socially, he wasn't the best because he promised me he wouldn't vote for me in the live night. Which is like we had like a game relationship, but it wasn't like, oh, we're like solid allies. So like if he voted for me without telling me he was gonna like save me no matter what, I would have been fine. But him going out of his way to be like, hey, I'm not gonna vote for you no matter who you're sitting with, and then not, it's what like Vanessa said, was just like, for me it was just stabbing me. Because I yeah, it just, it was weird what he was doing.
Honestly, that whole time, um, when Alex was HOH, I was like, just put who did I say put on the block? I forgot. Oh, Minor, I will say that if you hadn't won that veto, I think he was targeting you because he was like, well, Vanessa's not going to be here, so why would we like let's not vote Vanessa out. I'm like, okay, good. And so like when you won a veto, I'm like, okay, I don't mind that. I still want Vanessa to stay, but then I couldn't. That didn't happen. But yeah, I think Alex I don't know. My big question mark for him is like, did his like HOHs help him? Like how? Like I just want to know the thought process behind them. I mean, I know it, but like it doesn't still to me doesn't make sense. Even and we were working closely together, I thought.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, I also want like a reason why he would want to target me, because the only thing I'm picking up on is that from other games he knew I could win comps, but in this game I wasn't winning anything. I wasn't even doing well. So I want to know if he was bringing out outside stuff from like other games I played with the competitions, because it wouldn't be fair for going after me for being potential comp person without knowing what the comps were going to be this season.
So
but my thing is people still didn't nominate him though. So like I mean, I guess when he didn't have HOH, Adam did. But there were a few times that neither of them won HOH. I mean, I guess they would just win the veto. I, there were a few times Alex could have been nominated, and that never happened too. But I wonder if that's just because how the game went. I don't know. I feel like they probably would have won a veto, but yeah,
well,
Alex is a little question mark.
considering that it took a long time for Alex to ever be nominated this season, let's actually segue into Alex's social game. What were the what type of connection were you guys able to foster with Alex during this game? What kind of relationship did you have, not only strategically but also on a personal note? Honestly, having those types of conversations that are not just about game and just getting to know somebody and feeling good with that person, that takes people a long way. So who can speak to the testament of Alex's strong or maybe the criticisms or weaknesses of his social game?
Um, I think we can all agree here. I think this entire game itself was kind of hard when it comes to like personal conversations. I think from the get-go of this game, it was like game on, bitches. Like let's just talk game. Let's not really indulge in like getting to know each other because like let's be honest, we kind of like knew like 98% of the cast. Like we kind of knew each other at a personal level. As far as Alex, going into this game for me, I was like, okay, this is someone I know I can work with. Um, because when we played a certain game we don't talk about, um, we were like number twos. We were like each other's number twos. We were final twos. Um, and in this game, like it was just my conversations with Alec was more game level, and it's not even like deep game conversations. More like, what can you do for me in order for me to keep you safe, kind of thing. And that's where like I'm kind of icky with because I did give him those favors he wanted, and when I would ask for returns, I got the boot.
Um,
I can speak to this. So, most of you know that I'm like kind of like routinely like an open spigot, like personal, like emotion wise in terms of like interacting with other people in games. And what that is when it comes to like a relationship like Alex, where like the strategic trust had eroded, is a series of opportunities for him to pick up, even like pretending to care about any of my bullshit and like just kind of get me like instinctively like wanting to be closer to him, you know what I mean? And kind of in the most basic way in terms of like social awareness, I feel like he's very much dropped the ball on that. I feel like Adam put in like a little bit of effort to do that, regardless of how much it was genuine and how much it was just actually having the basic social awareness I'm talking about. Some of it was there, but yeah, like I said, on a very basic level, it did not seem like he was aware of the fact that it would be good for his game to like, I don't know, try to pick up a little bit more of like what I would put down when he would ask me a basic question and I would like overshare in a way that was like full of opportunities to like talk about whatever, you know?
Um, with me, Alex, we didn't. I mean, we had like personal conversations, but they didn't really like. It was more like it was always strategy, which personally I like that. Like, I get the personal talks. Like, I do want to learn about you, and I feel like I already knew Alex because Alex just hosted me. So I was like, okay, let's get straight to the game talk, and that's kind of how our relationship was. Which again, I didn't mind. Um, but I think at times he probably didn't feel like he needed to have that because he knew he was like he knew he could win stuff, even if he was like, "Oh, I didn't expect to win that." He knew like what he could do, and I feel like he just made those relationships that was close enough to get him through, and then he just won, and then his brain just farted sometimes. Um, because he was so close to everybody, so he didn't know what to do and he was scrambling. Or not close in the strategy sense. But when it came to personal talks and stuff like that, I don't know if he had those with people, if I'm being honest. And so it went to Adam. Adam, it was the same way. Me and them were basically a strategy talk. So like, I can't really speak to like the personal talks affecting, but if any of them were like that to you, like then I just
Exactly.
think
And
just
that's
like that to
that's
everybody.
that's the thing about this game. That's why the physical game is inherently tied to the social game. Because the people who are comfortable enough knowing that they have an advantage in the physical game have less of a need to play the social game and be even nice to anyone, be even friendly with anyone, um, regardless of like playing like a intense social game. And the people who have to play social game are the people who don't have the competitive ability to win as many comps. But what happens when you're a player who is winning a lot of comps and you take advantage of the fact that you can neglect that, uh, rather than like playing as if you do need this person's like trust,
Mhm.
um, or like, bonding on a personal level, on a social level, because that's what
No.
there's times in this game. There were like 4 or 5 people who were like on their way out that had that moment with me. And it was never enough, obviously. It was like, that's what people do when they have nothing left in this game. And I'm saying it lacks the ability, the need to do that in general, and then you just win your way through a physical game and a bad social game.
Do we think Adam had the more social game? Because like to me, like I said, they talk to me the same, and I know that Adam had those connections like Sean. I knew something was fishy with Adam. I put it in my chat, like I said, when he took Jackie off the block, when he basically gave the HOH to Jackie that round, and it was something else that happened when I was like, what the fuck is Adam doing? Like, I don't remember what it
Well,
was, but I'm just like, he has those connections that I know that Alex doesn't. So
well, technically, I give Jackie the HOH
Oh, my
because
internet.
I didn't swap her points for mine.
true. But that didn't surprise me as much as Adam giving all the coins to Jackie and not Adam. I meant Alex. So I'm just like, what? That just confused me.
Um, I will say like that entire time, Adam was. Let me backtrack. Can we turn
Yeah, go
into
for
Adam
it.
now? Okay.
Yeah, I was
Um,
about to segue to him. So yeah.
so I personally felt like I played Adam's social game for him. When I spoke to people, I told people go talk to Adam. Um, I told Vanessa like, oh, I don't like as much as I knew everything to a T of Adam's game. I made sure people were able to talk to Adam so they can get the information from Adam, not me. I told Vanessa to talk to Adam. I think when I was creating our final three of me, Juan, and Adam, I told Juan like, go speak to Adam. Think of what he should do, or like, you know, the whole the coins HOH. He regretted giving the coins to Jackie. But again, at that time, like they were working together, and yeah, no, I feel like I played Adam's social game for him because of the fact that like I told him like with the whole Jackie. telling him about the alliance. I told him like at this point you're gonna have to play it up of you and Jackie are against each other. Um, yeah, no, I feel like I just played a social game for him. That's how I feel.
Yeah. Um, I mostly had to go to Adam. Um, both of them technically. I had to be the one to go. Adam did a little bit better afterwards after I nominated him. He talked a little bit more, but I think after Jackie won HOH, he stopped again, and then I always had to go back to him and message him. He would never be the first one. And then the same with Alex. He would not. They both have both bad social games with me.
Damn, maybe I should have won a call at the end. Fuck. I'm
From what
kidding.
I'm
Yeah,
gathering, the latter half of the game, I just want to say like I guess 'cause honestly I don't even want to think about the first half because honestly like it was a struggle to
Hmm.
even talk to anyone. So like that kind of like I threw that out. But like I from what I'm gathering is that that just goes back to what Vanessa's saying. Like, you know, they relied so much on their compatibility to the point that when they needed to talk to people is when they knew they weren't safe.
mm,
Yeah, Eric, hello. Yeah, I mean, I agree because it first half was hard. So looking at the second half when they basically just dominated the comp wins and didn't really have to do anything with it socially. I don't know. For me, their social games like this, their physical games are like this. I don't know how to separate these two. I just want to know how I contributed to them. I feel like if they can answer me that at least with a confident answer, because they're probably just going to bullshit and be like, "Oh, Juan, we needed you to get to the end. No, you didn't. Don't." But I don't know. I want them to answer that for me.
I do want to say, Juan, I do appreciate you actually being one of the people that actually like talked to me, even though if it wasn't a game or anything. It was yeah, you and Sean, besides Vanessa, and then the other two were just okay. Yeah, but you, Eric, we had a
Do
roller
we just
coaster.
does everyone just hate Eric by the end of seasons? Is this like a normal thing?
Oh
Because
no.
oh my lord, like I'm like waiting for the day for you to talk game with me, Minor. I'm like pouring out everything going my day every day. Not one game thing ever got brought up, but I can't do it because everyone knows I'm talking game with everybody. So that was the
Mhm.
predicament I was in. But I'm like waiting to hear my name, waiting to hear my name, Minor. I'm just kidding.
No,
Um,
no, yeah, I towards better when it was just like personal stuff. No, not game.
yeah.
Yeah, I just know. I just felt like you were holding back. Game wise, I was like, I don't, I don't know.
Eric,
Yeah.
how were they socially to you? Like, were they kind of the same to you? Like,
I mean, like they both. I mean, yeah. I mean, it seems different than what you guys experienced from what I'm hearing since I joined. But yeah, my experiences with them are similar. I feel like Adam and Alex, other than you, Juan, were the only people like kind of like reach out towards me in the game, like asking if like, are you actually okay? Like right now, like are you good? Like everything good? Because like there'd be certain parts of the game where like my name would be slandered around the house and I wasn't even there, and they'd be like, hey, everything good? Like I'm like, I don't know. So I mean, like I feel like both of them actually were like genuinely trying to look out for me in the game, but at the same time knew how expendable I was, knew how much of a target I would be, and used that to their advantage. So I think they both kind of used me strategically as much as they could until it was time to just a easy person to get out in the double, which is understandable. So yeah, I mean, I pretty much just have to hear from them too, just kind of see like, well, how much did I really mean to your guys' game? How important was I as a piece? Or maybe I wasn't important at all, and that's why the game conversations weren't really that crazy in depth what we're gonna do.
yeah.
I will say this now, like I've been saying, I feel like I played Adam's social game because every time Eric and I were on a call, I would basically have to not carry my own social game, carry Adam's game along my back to like let Eric know like Adam has you. But I at the same time, without telling Eric, I knew how expendable Eric, without telling Adam, I knew how expendable Eric was. And even during the live night, like Adam and I were on call for 2 hours, trying to maintain like what we should do. Do we throw the HOH to Eric? Because we knew if Eric won HOH, we were safe. At the same time, we want to go after Eric because socially and strategically, he was messy. Love you. No offense. But like Alex, I don't know what the fuck Alex did socially, to be honest.
Alex, I think at least for me personally, I felt like Alex had a bit more control, I would say, on like the pulse of like what was actually happening with him. Like, oh, okay, like Adam, like Alex would ask me directly, like, how does this person feel about me? And like I would answer honestly because like there's not many people who are in the game that will be able to kind of put their front foot forward and say how does this person feel about me from your perspective, because it's a hard thing to do, especially because me and Alex weren't like really locked in. I really don't know what his view of like our group was, like me and him, but like I don't know, I viewed him as a closer ally in the game, and then same with Adam, but like I still knew like kind of like these fuckers are gonna win the game. Like they're both playing pretty good, more Adam than Alex at the point. But I mean, like seeing Alex still kind of navigate through the game is kind of impressive because I don't think that I typically would put like Alex and Adam's game kind of like in line parallel. Like that's usually a hard thing for me to say from what I've seen them play games. Adam usually fucking destroys it. Sometimes Alex has a little flub, but it kind of seems like Adam might have had a little more flubs in the game from my perception, and maybe Alex kind of had a little bit more understanding or control of what was going on. I could be totally wrong. Like I need to hear what the fuck these guys gotta say. And if y'all need to fill me in on anything, I'd love to hear that too.
I feel like that's the main question
Yeah.
is who had more awareness when it comes to the game itself. As far as Alex, I feel like his awareness was more towards like his positioning in the game. Yes, he have his closest allies, but at the same time, like he was more looking at his awareness agency wise 2 steps ahead. And that kind of like for me, like that kind of hindered him. As far as Adam, that man was calculated to a certain point. Like he knew who he wanted out when he won HOHs.
Honestly, and this is me, because as close as I was with Adam, I feel like I didn't know. Like I was as close to Adam as bit more so like, oh, I know Adam's not gonna put me up. Like I don't know what Adam's gonna do. When Adam tells me what he's gonna do, that's when he tells me. I don't know the reason behind it, but it's not me. So okay, Adam, do what you got to do. I can't tell you not to. Um, and more so with Alex, I know we would talk stuff out, and at the end of the day, he would still go and do the stuff that was like, maybe you should do this instead. And he's like, nah, I'm just going to do this. I'm like, okay. So, like I said, maybe he had his reasons. Um, I don't know. Was it to make it seem like, was it on purpose to flip? I don't know. I want to know what's going on inside of Alex's head, because I know from talking to him that he thinks about the stuff that he did. But sometimes to me, it just felt like, what the fuck are you doing? And I think that's probably how it is with all of us, with both of them. Like, it was so hard to get that connection solid at the beginning of the game. Like, by the time that back half came, the connections were like halfway there, or like they weren't. It was just weird. I don't know. I think we need to know individually how we benefited them in general, because unlike Eric, we don't see their games as the same. I do, and that's only because like we had that three for a while, and the whole time they were just winning, so they were just doing things that I knew they were going to do, and they both talked about. But I was just like, okay, they're just doing it because they're just trying to get to the end. So like, I don't know. I need to know the details, even though I worked with them.
Yeah.
All right, bet. Well, it seems as though like I know Vanessa had expressed her transgressions against Alex specifically at the beginning of the round table, but aside from that, it seems as though that if you feel some of the sentiments you may feel towards one of the finalists, most of y'all share the same sentiments with the other. Maybe they neither of them were really talking all that much strategy or socially with you. Maybe they both, won a myriad of competitions to get themselves to the end. And the question of how much agency did they have in the game? Who had the most accurate information? Who was the better positioned in the game? There's a lot of question marks about the both of them, and the same question marks for them both. So this next section of the jury roundtable, we're going to talk about each of the finalists and what pros they have over their opponent. We've compared their physical, their social, and y'all kind of segued into the strategic game yourselves, talking about the positioning and the moves that they needed to make to be able to navigate throughout the game. But let's talk about Adam first. Like, what reasons are there to vote for Adam over Alex specifically?
I would say I think Adam has a really good understanding of orgs in general, to the point where like even when Adam's in a bad spot, Adam's in a good spot. And it's something I was kind of trying to reiterate early on. Like right now, Adam's not in a good spot. It'd be a great time to take Adam out because he's not in a good spot. Because once Adam's in a good spot, you can't take Adam out. So I do feel like that happened at a certain point, but also like comp points is a huge thing because everyone knew at a certain point Adam was a huge target. Whereas like I don't feel like the same kind of control that's there even when they're losing is happening on the other side. And that's just my own, I guess, personal viewpoint, even though like, everyone has their biases on who they want to vote for. My bias is a little towards Alex. I'll just be honest about it because I don't care. Everyone's got a little bit of bias and I can notice mine. But I do feel like Adam definitely had a little bit more control even when things weren't going well for them early on.
I don't know. Like, I just think these questions are not questions, but I just need help separating their games. Like, I know they did different things, but the way they did them was the same, but they had different. I don't know. It's they both won. They both won HOHs and vetoes and used them and didn't use them. But I agree with Eric on that sense. That Adam at least seemed like he was like in control. I feel like a lot of times Adam could have been. Oh, this isn't merits. I don't care. I feel like a lot of times like Adam could have been more in danger than Alex. And I guess, like I said, that's why I give it to Alex. But we're talking about Adam. I guess for playing in a way that people were scared to take him out, or they're scared to go against him even when they could. Um, I feel like that's merit. Like there were people who wanted Adam on the block, and they just couldn't get him on the block. And I think that attests to how Adam navigated this game, even when he was safe. So I don't think people really wanted to put Alex on the block. I never heard anyone say I want to put Alex up. I heard multiple people say I want Adam on the block, and he didn't. Or I mean, he did, but he still didn't go home. So
I think the only people that told me they wanted Alex on the block was Vanessa, Sean, and Adam. Because I told all of them I want Alex on the block to see if they wanted Alex on the block, and they did. And then I was like, Alex kind of is in a good spot. I was like, and then I go home. But yeah, that's what's like. I don't know. It did feel like I guess like, I mean, there's a lot of points here because like what you said is actually really important because like the round I went out, everything you say lines up. Like I was too scared to ever take a shot at Adam at live night unless I won HOH and like possibly could do it. I would have to have a lot of control on that HOH and I probably wasn't going to happen. But like I knew that I could take out possibly Alex, but when I brought up Alex's name, then I go home. So it's like they're both like protected in different ways. And that's what's like really weird about it because like Adam had the shot. Adam had HOH and veto and like said, no, I'm keeping these people and made that decision and still got to the end. It's like I can't do anything but respect that. Like I mean, like, okay, you fucking did that. So I don't know. I know I'm talking a lot. I'm like high. I just got off
Oh,
work,
please do.
but I'm trying to bring some energy here because I got a little bit left. But yeah, I mean, like, I think they both played really good games. And honestly, this game was really weird at the beginning. Like Sean said, like this game was like, it's almost you don't want to talk about the beginning of the game because like all of us were like either playing multiple orgs, inactive, working, life shit that sucks, and we all kind of got through it together, kind of a weird way. And then
Yeah.
we're all here. But yeah, I mean, like, I think they both played great games, and it really is going to come down to, I think, them fucking talking about it. And we all know who's going to talk better. I'm sorry.
I don't know. I've never heard both of them talk.
Oh, okay.
I will say they're both good talkers. Um, so I feel like this would be my shine to like help y'all understand Adam's game and good points why he should win because I've worked so closely with him
You
like
better go to
since.
bat for your friend. Come on, tell us.
But I feel like I've made more moves to help him get into this fucking final two.
So should we not
Like
give it to Adam because you did them? Like, is that
I'm not saying that. I feel like I made big impacts that he elevated more to his own game, which that he has to explain. How like that goes back to what you were saying, Juan. Like how did Adam use me to benefit his game, you know? But the only good thing I see about Adam is that like at least he wasn't paranoid. He was not like he didn't go to people and like ponder like, oh, did I make the right move? Or like tell you don't make me a fool of myself if I keep you in this game kind of thing. Like he was firm about each decision he's made in this game.
Yeah. I mean, I could test that for sure. And being on the opposite end of it a lot, especially early on, like it is very respectable. And like, there's like, and I'm sorry, I'm just gonna go on a tangent here, and nothing to Prod or Jacob Adorno, but my least favorite thing about when there's two finalists is when we talk about each one of them individually, because it like that should happen, I guess, with three people more, like, because like when there's two people, it's so hard to talk about just one because like you have to compare the two. Like it's two, we're voting one way or another. We're not like here's the pros of these three people. So like I'm sorry if I talk about Alex a lot or Adam a lot on the opposite ones. But like I don't know. I think there's respectedness in the being confident in your moves and knowing what's going on and then getting to the end. I think that's like undeniably a great, respectable way of playing the game. And I also think that there's a respectable way of playing the game kind of in more individualistic. And I think that's Alex's approach, which is more of, hey, how do I protect my ass every possibility? And like, let's be real. Like, who, like, I mean, even just from this jury call, like, who's more likely to have information ran to them when it's dire? Like when it's something like you're next on the line right now, like who's going to get that information more? It's probably going to be Adam. You can see it as a pro because they're getting more information in the game, or you see it as a negative. But I mean, like if since it wasn't Alex getting that, sorry, my phone lagged. Since it wasn't Alex getting that information, and still, having to look out for their own game, I think it's respectable in a different way as well. But it's like at the end of the day, what's more important? Like a person who kind of went through the whole game, control and secure in all the decisions they made because they had the information given to them at all times, or is it the person who didn't have as much information, who had to kind of look after their back and honestly was working with the person who had all the information, so they got a little bit from there. They could have
I
been
don't
taken
really
out by
buy
them at
that
any
Alex.
time.
I don't really buy that Alex didn't have information
No,
or
no,
like
no.
the
I think Alex had
connections to get
information.
good information or anything like that.
I think
I
they
just
both have information, but I think whereas like when Sean was talking, I don't think Sean ever went to Alex and was like, "So this is what the fuck is going on." But Sean was like that to Adam. I was always like that to Alex, but I was a little more closed off with Adam. So like I feel like Alex had information, but not the same type as Adam did. Like I never knew that Adam wanted Alex on the block in like at all. Like I never got that sense that they were going to turn like they would have. or like that Adam was planting those seeds for Alex. I never got that. So I definitely understand what Eric's saying, but I don't know. I guess taking, like you said, Adam had a control of the game in a sense, was like he apparently got information that with everybody and was able to make decisions confidently because he knew everything in that way. And Alex was able to get different information, still be protected by the person who's planting seeds for him. Because again, there were multiple times where they both won HOH vetoes and could have taken a shot at each other and didn't. And he was able to maneuver more under. Like, yes, he was a threat. Yes, he was winning shit, but he wasn't this epicenter of information like Adam, which is why people are like, "Oh, Adam's doing this shit. We should look at Adam and not Alex." So like, their merits work for both of them because this person was able to do it good, yeah, but the other person did the same thing, but in a different way. And so it's like a final two where the thing that should separate them are their comp wins, but that shit doesn't matter. It's going to be hard. It's going to be difficult.
I'm
Such a
not gonna
toss up.
lie, a lot of what all of you are saying is giving Coach by Production to make it sound more balanced than it is.
I promise. I feel like it's balanced as fuck. Like, I don't know. I feel like anyone can win.
feel like I feel like I wouldn't say it's balance. I feel like that's what we're trying to like engrave in our brain that they both played such similar games, which for me at least, like on paper, it does look like that. Because let's be honest, for me at least, I knew for both of them, they fucked up their jury management. Like their jury management was shit. Adam knew his jury management was shit even before we reached the jury stage. So he just threw that out and just played the game the way it is. Alex, that man, like I can't stop harping on the fact that like he based his decisions on paranoia and how like he never really, I guess, included me in ways of like wanting to play the game. Does that make sense? I don't know.
He probably caught on the fact that you were telling Adam everything because he had a lot of information in the game.
No,
But the
I
thing
was
is, no
definitely
one.
telling Alex that Sean was being messy as fuck.
But the thing is, no one knew the entire game. The only person that had suspicions, I guess, y'all can just tell me now if I'm wrong, but like, no one knew Adam and I were close.
I mean,
I
like
feel like
people
Eric
had,
had an ink. I
I
feel like
think
you would
people
have
had
had an
an
inkling.
idea, but no one was for sure. That's for certain. I don't think, unless I'm wrong.
I
No,
only
yeah, because me, Eric, and Vanessa, I think we're on a call early on. They're saying that there could have been a 3 for sure, maybe a 4. And it was you, Sean, with Adam and Vicky.
I could. I had one real alliance this entire season, and it was me, Jackie, and Adam. I had two fake alliances that I was not really going to be loyal to. Because at that point, the only person I was really loyal to was Adam, was my three with Juan and Alex, and my three with Juan and Adam.
girl, I did
Like
not believe that was on like
when I told y'all at the beginning of this game I had no alliances, it was true up to the point that Jackie was like, "You, me, and Adam need to work together," and I was like, "Okay."
I only had a feeling that Adam was like working with you at that point when it was like he Adam was always going for like Eric. And I'm like, why? Sean's right there. Like what's going on? So like that was me. That's but I didn't like lock it in until the end and I was like, yeah, Sean needs to go and then Alex. See, I don't know. They I don't think they had similar games. I just think their outcomes are similar because they again, on a lot of comps, they had to make decisions. No one can really change those. Even when they had the time to change them, they didn't. So it's like same track record, different intentions. And I just want to know because I never got like the insider more from Alex, but like it's given. Oh, we are working together. One was targeting the other because he knew like he wanted somebody else to take him out because he knew possibly Alex wouldn't take him to the end because they were working so close together. Didn't happen, so now they're sitting at the end together. Like it, Juggernauts ruled this game. I don't give a fuck. That was our alliance name.
All right.
Yeah,
Well,
you kind of were the juggernauts.
They were Juggernauts. I was just
All right, well, before we close the roundtable off with just a couple rapid fire questions, is there any final comments anybody would like to make about either the finalists, either the final two, just the game at large?
When you watch this back, just know that y'all both killed it. Like in a game that was like it was, I think to be able to dominate it physically, even when you weren't dominating, you still didn't get, in the line of fire. I think y'all both did good. And from my perspective, I think any one of them could win tomorrow. Um, I feel like it's gonna really come down to if every jury member shows up, and I hope they do. I hope we all are able to get there and at least hear them a little bit, because I feel like it's needed. Um, and how they connected with all of us individually. I think that's really going to set them apart. And I'm excited to hear what both of them has to say because it'll be a hard decision for me. I worked with both of them, and I think both of them did things that I wish I could have, and I wish I could have taken either one out when I had the chance because I wasn't scared to. So,
If only we
yeah.
could win comps.
Huh?
Said if only we could win comps.
Listen, I won one, and when it did, it got reversed. So that's why one of us is here right now. But
Hey, I won one too, and that's why I got voted out twice.
but no, I think they both played great games. I think it's going to be a close fight. I don't think it's like a blowout, and I hope we all, come in with an open mind. Like I do.
I mean, if they do watch this back, they both know how much I care about them and love them as people. I think there's just a lot of question marks up in the air. I'd like to think I'm going into this finale tomorrow with an open mind, but as of right now, which kind of is weird because usually a jury roundtable when I have the like when I do jury roundtables, my head gets cleared on like being an open mind, but I don't know. I'm leaning towards one person.
A tip to have a good open mind is to understand your biases. So you're doing the good thing. It's like, yeah, I definitely would. If I were in your position and I played your game, I would be more biased towards Sean or not towards Sean. Pretty much actually towards Sean. Just kidding. Towards Adam because like you played the whole game with them and like you saw everything they've done and like how it worked. So totally get it. I definitely worked more, I guess, with Alex. So that's why I'm a little more biased. But like I definitely think Adam might have played the better game. So it's like, that's just kind of how it goes. You gotta like weigh out your bias versus like how well the players play too. Like that's another thing. And that goes in your vote. Like people vote bias all the time, so never feel bad if you end up voting the way you originally thought you were gonna vote. Because it honestly, at the end of the day, it's your decision. Who gives a fuck? There's people who vote people to go get killed in like you know what I mean, or like go to prison for years that are biased. You know what I mean? This is a org, so who gives a fuck? But yeah, that's all I gotta say. I love you all. And it was a fun game. Definitely love the host for hosting. It was awesome.
Minor, do you have any closing thoughts?
I'm honestly pretty open. I'm just the only thing is just Alex promising not to vote me. That's the going into that live night. So that's the only thing that's hands me against Alex. Because he didn't have to do that. But other than that, yeah, I'm pretty open. I was vibing most of the time, so like if they could explain their game pretty well and everything, I'm down to vote for either one of them.
Oh, but you, Vanessa. I know that you've expressed your preference here, but are there any last things you'd like to say before we close off?
No, nothing.
Understood. All right. Well, before we close this off, and to be honest, this is probably one of the most efficient jury roundtables I've ever hosted, both for my games and other people's games, because it seems as though like y'all did the segues for me. You guys were able to naturally and effortlessly segue from, oh, we're talking about the physical game of the HOHs. Let's talk about how they were able to leverage this on a social level, how they were able to forge relationships because of it. And oh, we're talking about social game. Let's talk about the strategy and how they were able to uphold their threat level and how they're able to make the most with their decisions and making moves. And I feel as though that crazy enough, the rapid fire questions I'm going to ask, I think you guys answered within some of your closing statements. You know, the first one I would have asked would just like a hand raising question. Raise your hand if you think you're undecided. You're super open. It's 50-50. Might as well be a coin flip. You do not know who you're going to be voting for. Right, finale. Okay. Raise your hand if you're leaning towards one way, but there is room for you to be swayed towards the other person.
It's like a
And
49, 50, 51. Like, I can't count, but
it's like 51-49 or anything within the range of like, there's a chance the other person gets my vote, although I prefer the other one at the moment. And raise your hand if your vote's already decided. You already sent in your vote. You already know what's going to be happening. There's no way that someone can. Yeah, we already know. I was looking dead at Vanessa when I was asking that question. But yeah, thank you guys all so much for being able to attend the jury roundtable. Like I said, I think it was very informative. Although, granted, I think a couple of you have said that some things are still not cleared up, and that means that there's questions to be asked. At the end of the day, that's what the final jury questioning. It's weird when I do this for Big Brother because, like, oh, Survivor's final tribal council. I don't know what the hell the equivalent of that is to Big Brother, but hopefully tomorrow you guys are able to arrange, well, or you guys are able to go and know what questions you're going to be asking them because you guys all played your roles in this, what seems to be a very chaotic and very strategically savvy game because it seemed like there was little cooldown to be able to just have personal conversations with people. The first half was turbulent in one way, and the back half of the game was turbulent in another. So best of luck to all of you. Of course, the power will come to you as to crown the first winner of Deception. I thank Benji and the rest of Prod for giving me the opportunity to be the jury moderator. Best of luck to you all. Have a phenomenal, magnificent, stupendous night. And remember, be kind to one another.